hear. Woo, we've got the recording on. Don't worry, it doesn't rein me in. So here's the thing. We welcome everybody. Thank you so much for taking some time to join us tonight for the Swan Hellenic party. Woohoo. We were gonna try and dress up and have I was gonna be the white swan and have him be the black swan, but we just didn't have enough time for costume changes during all this. But there you go. In any event, thank you for joining us. I'm very excited. Lisette is here. We've gone ahead
Hey, hi
and
everyone.
Darling Decca is here, and then Melissa's here. We're calling her Bearette now, right? Okay, so
Yes.
Bearette, Melissa. So we've got all types of folks have joined us, and this is where we get to learn all about Swan Hellenic and all the different things that they have to offer, and two sailings that we have that have exclusive connected traveler and travel society options. So we're pretty excited about all these. Swan Hellenic is a brand new partner for us, but it is luxury, ultra luxury, and I cannot wait for Miss Lisette to take it away and tell us all about it.
Awesome. Well, thank you very much, Mr. Sean. I'm very excited to be here. So, as Sean said, I'm Lisette Martinez. I'm the senior director for Swan Hellenic, and I'm very excited to be here with all of you and with the Travel Society and your Smoky Mountain Bears, Scott and Sean, and to give me this opportunity to be with you and talk to you a little bit about cultural expedition and Swan Hellenic and what it means for us. So, to get us started, I thought I would just do a little bit of mood video. All right. Well, that's just, oops, let me get to our next slide here so we don't repeat again. So hopefully that got us into a little bit of mood, gave you a little bit of taste of all the different places we go to in one, quick minute here. But a little bit about our background. So Swan Hellenic, it's a name that's been around for many, many years, for 75 years. And a little bit of background. It was basically founded by a father and son, and their last name was Swan. And they wanted to bring together people to go get to know Greece and the Aegean Sea, and they put together all these cultural tours. So that's where they got their last name Swan. And then since they were around Greece and the Aegean Sea, that's where the Hellenic came from. So if you hear that and you say, gosh, that's been around for a really long time, well, that's why. Now, over the years, you can see our timeline. We've had different organizations and different, ownerships and people, purchasing us as we've gone along to get us to where we are today, which is happened back in 2020, a group of investors and included Andrea Zito, which is our current president, to get us to the point where we are today. Now, when you think, okay, 75 years, but what they did was purchase the name and the brand. It's not the ships. Our ships are three brand spanking new, purpose built just for Swan Hellenic, but we wanted to keep that heritage of that fresh but married it with that fresh modern vision. So again, all about cultural expedition and that legacy, but bringing it into where we are today. All right, so what is an expedition sailing and what is the Swan Hellenic Way? So again, we wanted to get you to what is the new Swan Hellenic and our drive for the cultural expedition and the rich heritage of our name, marrying those two things together. Now, I'm going to talk a lot about what we do on board and what we visit and what we believe our pillars are. But this is something we thought was really important is that we have a 4.7 rating on Cruise Critic. So, most of you should know Cruise Critic, and people go on there and they give their reviews and their comments. And it's really hard to get a high rating. And for us to have a 4.7, which is one of the highest, if not the highest in expedition cruising, says a lot about us because I could tell you a lot of stuff, but now you'll be able to go back and read it from our guests that are giving us the best testimony that we can have is from, directly from them and their experience. So we're really proud of that. So now a little bit about, well, where do we go? The world. The world is your oyster with Swan Hellenic. We hit every ocean and every continent. We're super excited. In 27, we're bringing back New Zealand so we can say we hit every ocean and every continent. So we are everywhere, from Antarctica to the Arctic, from Africa to South America, Central America, the Caribbean, Europe, North America, Asia, South Pacific, and New Zealand. So we are super excited. And we'll talk about some of these today. But you can see the world is your oyster. Any place that you want to go that is far reaching and, on something new and bucket list, we'll have it here for you. So Swan Hellenic marries the adventure of a true expedition with five-star accommodations and luxury in a completely unpretentious way. So it's about having, the best of both worlds, that expedition, that culture, that adventure, but in that five-star luxurious accommodation. Oh, where we go. Okay, so how do we get this is our 5 pillars. So that's how we can best talk about what we mean and what does it mean to be expedition with Swan Hellenic. So our first one is be one with your destination. Connect with like-minded spirits. To go beyond and to embrace the unexpected. So this is what we feel is the Swan Hellenic way. These are our 4 pillars, and we'll just dive into each one a little bit. So be one with the destination. So when you're planning a vacation, yes, it's not just the next vacation. We want it to be transformational. So it's about a transformational journey for our guests spiritually, physically, with adventure and experience and culture. It's a transformation, a true, like totally in-depth and immersive experience. So it's not just connecting with nature, but being present and being in the moment. Now, this picture is amazing because one of my team members, Kelly, she actually went on one of the voyages, one of our Antarctic voyages, and she took this picture. And she was like, I'm standing here in this wide open, vast space with all of these people. And it's like, I've been dropped into a James Bond, movie. It was truly transformational and kind of spiritual for her when you go to some of these places that most people have never been to. And also to places people have been to, but on the small yacht luxury that we bring, and again, tying in that cultural immersion. So our second pillar is connecting with like-minded people. So again, this is expedition cruising isn't big ship. It's small ship where you get to know people, you get to experience people and things with people that have that same concept in mind. They're looking for curiosity. They're bonded by their curiosity, right? It could be you're on a Zodiac, for example, in this particular picture, you're on a Zodiac with 10 or 12 people that, you may not know very well. And, they may speak a different language. We do have 80% of our guests are American guests, but you may have somebody on there that you don't. But you come up with some shared experience. For example, you made a fur seal breaks through the water there and it was unexpected and it's close to the Zodiac and you've seen it. Well, now you've shared an experience, that moment, that aha moment, that wow moment. And you come back on the ship and it's again, that bonded moment, which is another element of expedition, of bringing that together, that community that comes along with it. And we go beyond. Our third pillar, again, is going beyond. So we're not necessarily, you can go shopping in certain ports and you can go eat in certain ports, but we really want to get under the surface of the destinations that we experience. The destination, the culture, the people, the flavors in the most immersive way possible. And so at Swan Hellenic, we do this automatically. In every port that we go to, we include an excursion. In the polar regions, we're including the polar landings, but in the non-polar regions, we want to make sure that in every port, everybody has an opportunity to experience the location. So at least one is included in all our ports. And this one, we try to curate really special things. So this is a neat one. And just to give you an idea of what we're trying to do, it may not be in the featured destinations we're talking about today, but I wanted to give that overall feel of what we're trying to curate here at Swan Hellenic. So this particular one is when we're in Namibia. We take all our guests into the Namib Desert, right, which is a certified dark sky park and is the second best place in the entire world to see stars. So we take our guests on the Zodiac off to the beach. We bring in food, music, entertainment from the local area, and we have this event, right there on the desert. And so it's not something that a typical ship can do. We've created this, and you're under, again, the stars and with music and dancers and cuisine, and it's included for all the guests. And it's just, again, the experience that we're trying to create. Now, expedition is different depending on where in the world we're going, right? So if you're in the cold weather, it can be kayaking. We have that as well, or snowshoeing and the zodiacs. But in our warm weather, you can do stand-up paddleboarding, snorkeling, treks and hikes through the forest. So it brings on a different feel where depending on where we are. But like I said, in warm weather like Indonesia or the Caribbean or the Philippines, you're going to do more of the warm weather, adventure things. And in the polars, we've got the snow and the snowshoeing and all that fun stuff. So it's going to be different, but it's always immersive. Now, the other thing that we feel that is really important to us is our onboard experts. So we have every type of ologist you would expect on an expedition cruise. Again, depending on where we are in the world, you're going to have geologists, historians, marine biologists, astronomers when we're in that dark sky park, archaeologists, photographers. Just we work with the really top and the best experts on board to bring everything to life. So when you're out in an excursion and you're out on land, our experts go with you and they're telling you, oh, there's this bird or there's this animal, or here's the historical, nature of where we are walking today. And this is the culture that we are. So they're doing that day by day on land, but then also on board, they're doing their lecture series where they're giving even more in-depth information of the overall area we're in. So again, just really special people that we bring on board to bring all the destinations that we go to life.
I just
As
want
an example,
to interject
yep.
thing there because a lot of our folks, I don't know, some of the people on here I know have not been on sailings where you have these experts. And I just want everyone to know this is just so neat that they're there because they literally sometimes they'll schedule coffee time and they'll just be like, hey, if you want to come up, we're going to be hanging out. I'll be hanging out having a cup of coffee or a cup of tea. Come up and ask questions. And so all the experiences that you did that day, you can come back and you can like reflect on them with the experts in that area.
Yeah,
So
and ask more questions on something that might have piqued your interest that you're like, hey, tell me more about this. But exactly, they're all around the ship having a cocktail or a coffee, and they are available, for additional, yeah, discussions and just, again, bringing it all to life.
they don't
And what we
scamper
try,
away with the approach.
hmm And they're approachable.
Not approaches
Absolutely.
they do, but they don't scamper away for the rest of us.
Right, right, right. And just to give you an example of, we also bring guest lecturers on board. This past season in Greenland, we brought on the first female prime minister of Greenland on board our cruises around that area. So that's what we're trying to curate, really experts and people that are just, related to that area to bring everything to life. So that's, again, one of our key pillars is that. And again, what we talk about is you don't want to just be a passive person when you're on these cruises and on our expeditions. We want you to be interacting and being a part of the story that you're creating, not just reading it, but you're actually participating in it. So in this example here, we have what we call our citizens science program. So here they were actually measuring the water clarity and reporting it back. So we partner with a lot of different places that we work with. So for example, we work with Stony Brook University, where guests can help document different bird species that we encounter when they were in Antarctica and the Arctic. And we have a partnership with NASA, where guests can document different cloud formations that they see and they take pictures of. We share that with NASA as well. And we encourage people to participate in the Happy Whale Foundation, which, if you don't know, if you see a whale and you see their tail and you take a picture of it, you upload it to the Happy Whale Foundation, and you can then track the migratory pattern of that particular whale that you saw because their tail is like their fingerprint. So these are the things that we talk about, that we try to really bring everything, to life and full circle. And again, not just being passive, but being an active participant in where we go. Now, this one I find really interesting is we also have a partnership with SETI, which, if you don't know what SETI is, it's the Search for Extraterrestrial Intelligence Organization. So we have 10 voyages where we have specialists that are are part of the SETI Institute come on board as our guest lecture series. So we'll share all of this. I didn't want to go through all of them, but just to, put down here, just we have mathematicians and astrobiologists and research astronomers, on board. And again, being part of those lecture series that I mentioned earlier. And then our last pillar is embrace the unexpected. So this isn't me because I haven't been there, but this is Kelly. So this is um, she just embodies what it is to be, a part of Swan Hellenic and embracing the unexpected. So she's got some great stories that she's told us when she was in the Norwegian fjords and they were on an excursions and they were on the trek with one of our experts and they were done with their excursion and their hike, but the expert, looked at their group and said, "Hey, do you guys want to continue? I want to keep walking. Who wants to continue? We can go down to the Svarzen Glacier and the lake." And they all looked at each other and they said, "Yeah, okay, let's go ahead and do that." So they went and they kept walking and they go up to the lake. And out of nowhere, he jumps headfirst into that really cold lake. Now you can see they've got their wetsuits on, so it's like they weren't going to freeze to death. But he just jumped in. And she said that the group, they all kind of looked around at each other and then they kind of shrugged their shoulders and they were like, "All right, when in Rome," and they all jumped in. So this kind of again is embracing the unexpected where it wasn't planned, but they went ahead and did it. And then it's also that community of like-minded people where, that was a shared experience that not everybody gets to do. And we empower our crew on board to do things like that. If you're having a good day and your group wants to keep going, go for it. I have another example that we've heard about where on the Vega, we were through the Drake Passage and we had just finished the polar landing. We were already heading on our way home and they came upon like 100 whales all around the ship as they were going through the Drake Passage. Now, most of the time you'll just keep going. Well, the captain took upon himself to just stop. He just, slammed on the brakes and stopped. And for 2 hours, all of our guests were out on deck taking pictures and with their binoculars and just watching these, like 100 pod of whales just playing and swimming around. Now, everybody else kept going. Other ships and everything kept going, but we were there for 2 hours to the point where the Coast Guard called to see if we were okay or any kind of distress because you don't typically see a ship stop in the Drake Passage and just sit there for 2 hours. But it was a calm day. So it was the unexpected. And those are the type of things that we, are known for and we want our crew to do. And we've again empowered our team on board to be able to do all of these things for our guests. And now a little bit about our tagline, see what others don't. So I think I mentioned it earlier, I'm not sure, but it really is looking at places through a different lens to go really see what others don't. We go to places where only few can go to. For example, approximately 30 of our ports of call are only visited once or maybe twice a year by any ship because there's very remote. And there's 9 places we go where we are the only ones that go to. Gabon in Africa, for example, we were the first ones to go there and we were the only ones to go there because we're trying to find those off the beaten path, those memories that other people just, can't experience. And here's another example, the Bijago Archipelago, which is it's in West Africa, part of the Guinea-Bissau, and it's a UNESCO Marine Reserve site. So again, an amazing site, and it's a tiny island, very, low inhabitants. There's no roads, no infrastructure, and you can see we literally do a wet landing. We get into our Zodiacs, we go to the beach, we land, and the community members come out and they greet us because we do bring them, food and supplies. And then they walk with us and they trek us through, the forest and the trees to get to their community, area. And then they put on, celebrations for us and ceremonies and just explaining, their culture and their livelihood. And this society happens to be a matriarchal society. So, women are very much revered. So we get to experience, that unique, culture as well. So again, those unique places and those unique experiences that we can only do on our small ships. Now, I want to go ahead and give you like a top level. I'm not going to go into all of these, but you'll see here we've got Antarctica, and you can see we've got, oops, I went too far. Let's go back. Antarctica, we have 9 day, 10 days, round trip Ushuaia. We have longer voyages that go into different places, Port Stanley, the Falkland Islands, and other itineraries, but some really great itineraries in Antarctica. And her typical season is about November to February. And then we have Africa, like we've talked about. We've got amazing itineraries from Luanda to Accra, for example, and just, Morocco and Senegal, just amazing places in Africa. You get to see, animals and, like we said, the Namib Desert, just really off the beaten path itineraries. And then we have South America, which is one of the ones we'll talk about a little bit later, but some amazing itineraries all around Brazil and Argentina, and just, some amazing itineraries throughout South America. And then the Arctic. So we go some easy to get to places from Halifax, for example, from Halifax to Reykjavik. We have a great itinerary, and then you can stay a few extra days in Reykjavik and get to know that area. But we go all around Iceland and Greenland. And for example, I kind of highlighted real quickly here that we've got some Northern Lights. If you're interested in seeing the Northern Lights, we've got voyages from Greenland to Canada in September of 26. We've got 13 and 14 nights where you could try to capture those Northern Lights. And then we still have a little bit, not too much availability with the solar eclipse in 26 with our round trip Reykjavik. And that's in August of 26. So again, really neat places and some amazing things to see. And then we're really excited this year that we're bringing for this first time Asia. In 26 in the spring on Minerva, we're doing some amazing Asia itineraries because it's very popular right now. And we go to Solomon Islands, Japan, Rajan Pat, which it's made. Rajan Pat is 1,000 islands of atolls and small little islands where, again, with our little ship, we can weave in and out of these, as well as we can do the zodiac landings on, faraway little islands among, Rajan Pat, and do, a day stop, a picnic, a lunch, a dinner. Just again, some really amazing itineraries. And it's also great for the history buffs. A lot of war history in these itineraries. We have stops in Guadalcanal and Hiroshima. We've got Japan. Lots of amazing itineraries. And this is starting to be one of our most popular is Asia, like I said, because it is very hot this year. Now we'll get a little bit into our fleet. I want to talk to you about, our beautiful, well-appointed, just luxurious, but unpretentious ships. So this is a great view of our observation lounge, but we'll talk our observation deck here, but our Swan's Nest, but we'll talk about that in a second. So our fleet, we have the youngest fleet in the expedition market. Like I said, Swan Hellenic, 75 years, but our 3 ships are brand spanking new. Minerva was built in 21, Vega in 22, and Diana in 23. They have all the bells and whistles, all the modern bells and whistles for safety, security, sustainability. They're 152 passenger max for the Minerva and the Vega, and the Diana is just slightly larger at 192, and they're identical. So once you're comfortable and you know your way around one ship, you'll know your way around all 3 ships. So that offers some great comfort, and when you're going from different places to that your home base, right? You're familiar with. So some really beautiful. It's like they feel like they are on a 5-star floating boutique hotel, because that's how we've appointed our ships. They were built in Finland, so they have a Scandinavian feel, which is very modern, cool, crisp. Staterooms are nice and big, lots of storage space in our staterooms. Just very well appointed, beautiful, modern ships. Talk a little bit about our sustainability. As I mentioned, that's very important to us. We are very keen on having responsible cruising. We're fully compliant, and actually we go above and beyond with the stringent industry standards because it's very important to us that we preserve those places that we are going to, because they are so remote and so off the beaten path. And we have the most advanced technology that allows us to be self-sustaining in certain points, not, fuel efficient and all of those things. So again, brand new ships, all the bells and whistles, and like I said, sustainability is very important to us. Now, a little bit about dining. All right. So again, you go on Cruise Critic, you'll hear how our food is amazing. Just, lots of tastes and variations, and just very well done with our high-end chefs. So a little bit about where you would eat on board. So for dining, the Swan restaurant is our main dining room. And here is where you'll have breakfast, lunch, and dinner served. Now, breakfast and lunch are typically buffet. here in the Swan restaurant. And then in the evening, it's transformed into, a gourmet venue, serving sublime creations. You can expect a world of extraordinary, flavors, textures, contrasts, including some creative, Asian and Italian fusion dishes, as well as more traditional international, cuisine. We really just, it's a nice, comfortable, yet elegant place where we have, again, the fine dining, breakfast and lunch buffet. And just a side note, on our first day and our last night, the dinner is also buffet because that first day, most places have been, long trips to get us there. So we make it easier and more relaxed for our guests in the first and last day. In the Swan restaurant is also buffet. Then we have our informal dining area, which is the club lounge. Now, this area is where, mostly all day eating, I guess you could say, in different hours of the day, but it's open early in the morning for those early risers. We've got, yogurts and parfaits and fruit and croissants before our breakfast buffets open. This is where those early risers can go to. And then in the afternoon, around lunchtime, we do serve, snacks, light lunch that people can grab. And then at 3 o'clock, we have an amazing tea service with lots of, finger sandwiches and pizza and desserts and cookies and cakes. It's a really nice place where people enjoy going to at 3 o'clock and having that tea. And in the evening, it's a casual, catch up. It's an ideal spot for a little bit of, like family style diner, very easy, laid back, another area again for dining. Then we have our pool bar and grill. Now, this, of course, is weather permitting, but it's another opportunity for us to offer a dining area in the winter. In the cold areas, we do offer, when weather is permitting, barbecues outside because we actually have heaters, I guess, around our tables to keep us nice and warm when we're in that cold weather. But we can serve up, hot dogs, burgers, fish, all there al fresco. And in the evenings, in our warm weather, we can also do very nice upscale a la carte dinner service as well. And then our bar area is there as well during the day. And in the evening, you can grab an alcoholic or non-alcoholic drink. And then room service. Room service is available 24 hours. So anytime you got a little bite, you're a little hungry, it is there for you all day long as well. And now health and wellness, now it's very important that we stay healthy and we stay fit and we, for those, I'm not a gym person myself, but we want to make sure that we have it and that we are participating in it. But this is again where we marry the luxury, everything you would expect. We have an amazing spa with all treatments. We have a beauty salon. We have the gym, open deck jacuzzi, a heated pool. And then a beautiful, I mean, the sauna, look at the view that again, trying to always marry that destination into what we're experiencing. So just great views when you're, nice and warm in your sauna, but you're overlooking your beautiful destination. Some additional venues that we have are our base camp, what we call our base camp. So for those of you who have never been to Antarctica, for example, it's where we get onto our Zodiac. So it doesn't have to be Antarctica, but whenever we're getting on our Zodiac, it's base camp. But in Antarctica, this is where we would get ready. This is where you can keep your parkas and your boots and all your equipment because every stateroom gets assigned a locker. So you don't have to be taking things back up and down, from your stateroom. And I think I have this later on, but we do include, in Antarctica, a parka that you take home with you, and you have use of boots as well. You don't take the boots home, but again, these can be kept in this locker. So this is a great area where we get ready to go out into our destinations. Then we also have our laboratory or our science lab. Again, how we talked, it's about participation and our specialists and our experts that we have on board. So we can, we've got microscopes, you have a question, the scientists can come down with you and we can look at I know we looked at like some microplastics underneath the microscope because obviously that affects, Antarctica. So there's, that was what they were interested in. That particular cruise was looking at that. So it's a great area that we have, as well as the library. Guests can check out a book, can play some games, you make some friends, you want to play cards. Again, it's just another nice area. And then the Swan's Nest, it's very unique place because it's out in front of the bow of the ship. So it goes a little bit further out. Beautiful views. You'll see guests here all the time with their pictures and their binoculars and just taking in all the breathtaking views of all the destinations that they're going to. It does hold about 30 guests. So we have had private cocktail parties there. I actually have a client who renewed their wedding vows up there. They had about, 15, 20 friends with them. And the captain did a little ceremony. It was all, with some flowers. It was very pretty out in that area. So it's a beautiful area of the ship to go and see again the destinations that we are uh, visiting. Okay. And then the observation lounge. The observation lounge is basically the heart and soul. This is where all your lectures are. This is where the guest lectures are. This is where the daily debriefing is. There's a bar. This is where guests will come together after their active day and say, hey, what did you do today? This is what I experienced. All of that happens here in the observation lounge. It's basically, like I said, the hub of the ship. And it's very technologically set. All of these chairs and all of these lounges have USB ports, so you can plug in your phone, you can be charging while you're listening to your lecture or just having your cocktail. But again, it's the center of the ship. Where everyone gathers. And typically, a debriefing will happen right before dinner. So guests will come down, they'll have a cocktail, they'll, get debriefed on the day and what's coming up tonight and tomorrow. And they may have a cocktail or they may go straight into dinner. But it's again the nice heart of the ship. And you can see the big windows in the background because again, it's always bringing in the destination. We want to be where we are. We always want to be reminded of where we are and what we're seeing. And now a little bit about our staterooms and what's included because it is your home away from home. So we do have two options, Cruise Plus and Cruise Only. And basically what Cruise Plus is for are hard to get to places, like certain parts Antarctica for sure, and then certain parts of West Africa. So when you purchase our Cruise Plus, it includes the charter flight. So for example, you fly into Rio, and you then get picked up and you take your Florida charter flight to Ushuaia. We'll have a hotel if necessary, and then you board your ship. So those are included on those hard to reach places. The group return transfers, as I mentioned, and your one night pre-accommodation when necessary for those hard to reach areas. But included for everyone is obviously your stateroom. All meals are included. All complimentary hot, cold beverages, beer, wine, spirits, anytime throughout your cruise. So all food and beverages are included, alcoholic and non-alcoholic. Oops, my apologies. 24-hour room service, our lecture programs, the shore excursion in every port, like we talked about. All of our expedition landings when you're in the polar regions. We do also included is our entry-level Wi-Fi program. There are additional packages if you need to do more streaming and those things, but our basic Wi-Fi package is included. Your gym, your sauna, your pool, 24-hour self-service laundry. Every guest gets a waterproof backpack and refillable water bottle, which is yours to keep. In the polar regions, we talked about the branded parka, which is yours to keep, and the use of our rubber boots. And when you come back, you receive like a memory book of everything that you saw and experienced or that the crew may have seen and experienced throughout your voyage. You get that back as well. And all your onboard gratuities and port taxes are included. So when you see our pricing, everything's included. You can, of course, upgrade your Wi-Fi. You have your spa treatments and all of that, but everything is included. And then in your stateroom, you'll receive a welcome bottle of champagne. We have the Smart HD TVs, a mini bar with snacks, soft drinks, and beer, again included. My boss just sailed on one not too long ago, and he loved having M&Ms. That's what he had, some M&Ms in his room every day, and he was very happy. We have an Illy espresso coffee machine with pods, kettle and Kuzmi tea bags, towels for your cabin, pool, and gym, your individually controlled air conditioning, bathrobe, bedroom slippers, toiletries, your personal safe, binoculars, because it's really important that you be able to see and experience everything. So we've got the binoculars that you can use and your basic Wi-Fi. So then why sail on Swan Hellenic? Why? So to recap, to see what others don't. We don't want you to just check these destinations off your list. We want to immerse yourself in them with our expert expedition teams and guest lecturers. We've got small, intimate, floating boutique hotel with under 200 guests on board, which again is the sweet spot under 200, so we can do 2 polar landings a day when you're doing Antarctica. So that's really important for that. Unpretentious luxury. You don't have to wear suit and ties, but everything that you want is at your fingertips. The crew, the service that provide, they think of things ahead of time that you may need, may not need, your likes, your dislikes. It really is that unpretentious luxury. You step on board and be completely taken care of. It's an incredible value with so much included, and service on board, it's intuitive and seamless. And like we talked about, those transformational experiences. And like to always say this, that highest rated expedition line on Cruise Critic. So now I want to talk a little bit about these focused voyages that the Connected Traveler and the Travel Society have, in store for you and wanted us to talk about because we think they'll be really exciting, really a nice way for you to step into our Swan Hellenic family. So the first one is Belize to Fort Lauderdale, which is our Western Caribbean. So it's easy to get to. It's coming up here on May 3rd through May 12th and 26th on Vega. And if you remember, she's one of our ships that have 152 passengers. So you're on like your own private yacht. We did have to make a slight change, obviously, because of the devastation that poor Jamaica just recently went through with the hurricane. So we are looking at replacing it with Cayman Brac and a day at sea. We're still finalizing that stop in Cayman Brac. And once we have that, I'll definitely let Sean know and Scott so they can update everyone. But it's an amazing itinerary that we have here. And then I just wanted to give a little feel for some of the ports. So Cayman Brac is the easternmost and least developed island of the Cayman Islands. It blends natural beauty and cultural charm, just 12 miles long. It's got rugged terrain, lush forest, home of over 200 birds, including endangered parrots, brown boobies, peregrine falcon. Again, so if you're into that nature and seeing those animals, it's a great place to see and capture and take pictures of all of these animals. Visitors can enjoy exploring caves, trails, pirate history, go kayaking off the calm waters. Just a really beautiful place. Then a little bit about Belize City. It offers a captivating blend of ancient civilizations, rainforest trails, wild landscapes, pristine keys that dot the 200-mile coastline, luring you to the Caribbean bliss. In the nearby Maya Mountains lies the Coxcomb Basin Wildlife Sanctuary, the world's only jaguar sanctuary, and also home to pumas, deer, howler monkeys, and tapirs. So again, beautiful city. If you haven't been, and if you have been, it's a great place to go again because there's also beautiful, snorkeling, and just the beaches are amazing. In Exuma Island, now I don't know how many of you have, been swimming with the pigs. I have not yet been swimming with the pigs, but it's an amazing thing as well as swimming with the sharks. So in Exuma, it stands out for the exhilarating shark encounters where visitors can swim with the docile nurse sharks. And they're a stunning archipelago of 365 islands. And I did want to I had to put this in here because we want to swim with the pigs and sharks. Please. So just to get a little taste of that and see if you get interested in doing that. All right, and then you end up in Nassau and Fort Lauderdale. And I'm lucky enough, I live in Fort Lauderdale, so I can vouch for the things that it says here. The Hugh Taylor Birch State Park is a really nice park. I used to do a lot of rollerblading in my youth through there and spend a lot of time, looking at the area there, the eco kayaking and, alligators and flamingos, just beautiful area. And Las Olas Boulevard, some amazing restaurants and shops. And just, Fort Lauderdale is a great city to end up in. And then again, easy flying to wherever is your home base. So a beautiful experience, beautiful, calming, and enriching experience you can have with us on this Western Caribbean cruise. And then what we talked about having an excursion included in every port, I want to drop in a few here in what we call like our unmissables. So for example, included, because we want to make sure again that we do immerse you, is the Stingray swim in Grand Cayman is included. Blue Hole Discovery. on Long Island is also included, and the Swimming with the Pigs expedition is included in Exuma. So just wanted to touch a few of those so you could take a look at and see that for you. And then a little bit about our ship. She is the Vega, is doing this Belize to Fort Lauderdale. 9 decks. She's again fully appointed, fully modern, 152 passengers, 76 staterooms. And you can see these are our public decks, which is we have seven of the public decks, and 3 of them are with our staterooms. And then we'll go into a little bit about the individual staterooms. So we have our premium suite, and it includes a king-size bed, separate living room. Oh, what I didn't mention is just about all of our staterooms, except for one category on Diana, include a flame effect fireplace, which you can see here, all the staterooms, even the ocean views. So you come back and you hear a little crackling noise, and it's just soft and smoothing, and people love it. It's really, really well appointed. All of our rooms have it. But talking about the premium suite, sleeps up to 4 people. It's got an ensuite bathroom, separate bathtub and shower, and it has a separate living room. And your rate for the premium suite on this voyage for the Travel Society and is $8,700 per person. Then we have our standard suites, which also sleep up to 4, and this suite here as well features a king-size bed, separate living room with a flame effect fireplace, the luxurious bathroom, separate bathtub and walk-in shower, just a little bit smaller than our premium suite. And the starting price for this is $75.80 per person. And then we have our balconies. So our balconies sleep 2 to 3 people, and you have either 2 single beds or a double bed with the bedroom and combined living area. You can see that towards the back with the luxurious bathroom and private balcony. We do have 3 categories of balconies, so it all depends on which deck is where the pricing is. So it starts with $5,100 for the BD up to $5,500 for the B6 per person. And then we have our entry-level ocean views. It sleeps to 2 to 3 people, but you can see it's no ordinary ocean view. Those are really big oval windows. They're not tiny little portholes. You really get a good view out into the ocean. So they feature 2 single beds or a double bed, a bedroom with living room area, and a luxurious bathroom. And the entry price here is $43.80 per person.
I just want to point out this is crazy because on that pricing for that room, you're basically around $240 per person per day on that ocean view on that voyage.
Yeah, and everything's included.
That includes your excursions, your drinks, the Wi-Fi. That includes everything. I mean, that's so I just want to point out that they are a new partner, but they gave us some very favorable pricing on them. If you're gonna die, it's not until we go on this ship. I've talked to you about this. The thing is, the pricing, like the pricing that we have on these 2 voyages, you can't get this anywhere else. This is Travel Society Connected Traveler exclusive. But $240 per person per day on this voyage, including your drinks. And some of you I've met, and I don't want your bar bill.
I want to go with them.
Well,
Don't talk about me like I'm not here.
we maybe myself.
Wow, Sean, I was going to say that's really hurtful. We hear us when you talk about us.
Awesome. And then the second one, because I know we're short on time, I seem to have been rambling on here, but this itinerary is just amazing and beautiful. It's Salvador de Bahia to Rio. It's the Soul, Samba, and Sea journey to the heart of Brazil. Also on the Vega, again, 152 passengers in the fall of next year, October 25th to October 31st. And what a better place to end in Rio on Halloween. I mean, talk about an adventure you can have staying a few nights in Rio at the end of your voyage. So a little bit about not each port, but some of the ports that we talked about here. Salvador de Bahia, Brazil. It's rich Afro-Brazilian heritage. Salvador is the capital of Bahia. It's a vibrant city with African and South American cultural blends. And it's Salvador served as Brazil's first capital, and it's a UNESCO-listed historic center. So again, some very nice places that we go to, burst with cobblestone streets, colorful colonial buildings, and you can just see the flavors and the vibrancy of this city coming to life in the pictures that we have here, and the welcome that we get. That's the ship in the back, and you can see the welcome that we get. Then one of our ports is Itacari, Brazil, a charming coastal town in the southern Bahia. It has miles of pristine white sand beaches, luring surfers and bodyboarders. The town's laid-back charm is evident in its vibrant cobblestone streets, which resonate with lively Afro-Brazilian beats pouring from the local bars, which some of you, sounds like you would like, complemented by the rhythmic movements of capoeira dancers showcasing their martial arts skills, and artisan shops and eateries. In Trancoso, Brazil, again, some beautiful, views of the ocean. It's a tiny beach town. It's a quaint fishing village on Bahia's south coast. It's transformed into a boho chic destination amid the lush Atlantic rainforest. Very eco-friendly pousadas and bohemian hotels now line its pristine beaches, offering an idyllic retreat to relax and embrace the natural beauty of Brazil's northeastern coast. So again, just some very beautiful, beautiful places. And for nature lovers and animal lovers and it's wildlife, it's just amazing. The Abrolhos archipelago. It comprises 5 islands within the Abrolhos Marine National Park off of Bahia. It's only one island, Sariba. It's open to visitors, offering rich biodiversity, extensive coral reefs, and serving as a humpback whale breeding ground. It's also a habitat for leatherback and loggerhead sea turtles, as well as threatened bird species, such as masked brown boobies, frigate birds, red-billed tropic birds, sooty terns, and brown noddies. So lots of bird species to go and encounter. In Bucios, Brazil, known as the Saint-Tropez of Brazil, this fashionable resort town attracts Rio's wealthy within its 23 breathtaking beaches tucked into coves along the coastline. It was also once a quite quaint fishing village, and it now boasts fancy shops, boutiques, restaurants, and a nice European vibe. And again, which some of you would like, trying their signature caipirinha cocktails, which I've had them and they're amazing.
None of you would like them. You should give them to me.
Heck no. I'm not.
Not sharing.
No.
And then in Areal de Covo, in the lakes region of Rio de Janeiro, is one of Brazil's most spectacular destinations. With white sand beaches and crystal clear turquoise waters, the region's unique natural phenomenon of resurgence brings nutrient-rich deep waters to the surface, attracting abundant marine life. So again, beautiful sanctuaries, beautiful, breathtaking places. And then where to end, of course, Rio. Pulsating with energy, Rio de Janeiro wows with sensational beaches and dazzling mountain backdrop cloaked in tropical forests. A cable car glides up Sugarloaf Mountain while a cog train heads to Corcovada's Peak and the towering Christ statue overlooking the city. Copacabana and Ipanema are perfect for lounging on the sand and people watching. And no visit is complete without a caipirinha. So you get 2 opportunities to have your caipirinhas. I'm sure more than 2, but your cocktail amid Rio's lively bars and carnival vibe. And I did have the pleasure of going to Rio. I was lucky enough during the Rio Olympics years ago. In a different line, we brought in a ship, and she is just a spectacular city. The beaches, the vibe, the people, just a spectacular, spectacular place to visit.
And I will say on both of those sailings, we have exclusive pre and post shore excursions and stays for folks already lined up.
Amazing. Wonderful. And then we've got our, again, unmissables, which are included excursions. I just dropped a few of them in here. Island walking and snorkeling in the Abrolhos Archipelago, a walking tour in Inagare, and a shuttle bus to take you into Trancoso so you can, walk at your leisure and, see the sights. So again, trying to include something for everyone and making sure that, every aspect is taken care of. On this slide, I didn't go through all the staterooms, like we said, are the same. You've got your premium suites, your balconies, your suites, and your ocean views. And here our ocean views start at $35.20 per person. So again, it's an amazing rate for everything that is included in this wonderful, experience, which is the heart of Brazil. Our balconies start at $42.20. And then we have suites at $61.40 per person, and our premium suite at $7,020 per person. And we also do have some single ocean view and balcony rates for those singles that we can accommodate. Sean and Scott have really thought of everything to make sure that we're offering you, the best possible rates. And I know once you're on board, we take very good care of you. You will have an amazing time, and you'll come back saying, okay, where's my next place? Where in that huge map of the world that Swan Hellenic goes to, where's my next place? So I just want to say thank you for embracing our travel philosophy. Hopefully, I was able to give you a little bit of what it means to be Swan Hellenic in the Swan Hellenic way. And I really hope that we can see you on board really soon.
Well, thank you. This is very interesting.
Yeah, thank you, Lisette. We're very excited that you're here. I want to let everybody know, I think if you wanted to boil down Swan Hellenic, the difference, two things, and one of which is about the way we even came into existence with each other here. But two things. I think that if you were going to sum it into just kind of one phrase, the difference here, for those of you that want to go places and want to really experience them, experience the culture, experience the community where you're going, and really meet the people. This is about transformational cultural excursions and transformational cultural journeys. So, again, it's very different. It's a transformational cultural immersion journey the whole way through. I do have a few questions that have been thrown out here, but before that, I want to point out Swan Hellenic is a Virtuoso member. And so remember, it's a luxury member. We have special privileges. We have extra privileges because they're a Virtuoso member. We have extra benefits that come with all the sailings. And that Brazil sailing, if you price that out, that's just the price is ludicrous. It becomes a no-brainer if you ever wanted to go to Brazil, because the idea that it even excludes those. But Swan Hellenic is also a member of IGLTA. So for a lot of you, I know that that means something, and to me, it means a few things, not the least of which is that I know that no matter who is going on this journey, they're going to be taken care of, and that they're very much aware and cognizant of any type of special needs on board the ship, whether it's somebody who has special needs due to a disability or somebody who, or if you're just worried about any type of background, Swan Hellenic will take care of you, and they're going to make sure that you're comfortable on board their ship no matter what. And that's a very key component of their whole thing. One of the questions, this question was just stupid, and no, the Happy Whale Foundation, yes, you can take a picture, and no, if you take a picture of Scott's butt or my butt, you cannot tack it on the website. So let me just end that one there for you.
That was a question.
Which one?
The vegan.
Yes. So well, that actually says Vega. That was the ship. The vegan was
Oh.
over here. So how do you do on accommodating vegan and vegetarian diets?
I'm sure we have all of that because again, we are a luxury market. We will take care of your vegan needs.
Are you adults only?
No, actually, 8 years and older is who we will accept.
But you do not market.
Correct. I mean, you have some family destinations, but it is not, highly family again because of the pricing and where we're going and all of that. But we do allow for them. We will see one here and there.
And for folks that are asking, yes, the size of the ship is perfect for us to just do a ship takeover and take over the whole ship. That's not a problem at all. And yes, I have already asked that if we take over the whole ship, you can do European sunbathing. So that's fine. What else here was there? Dress. What is the dress code on board the ship?
It's casual. It's unpretentious. So it's comfortable. You may not wear shorts in the dinner in the evenings, but it's very casual. Khakis. You're going to be comfortable.
The crew ratio, crew passenger ratio, it's almost 1-for-1.
It's almost 1-to-1.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's
For entertainment, I saw that just popped up. It basically, we do have, some music and some trivia games and those types of events, but, full-fledged entertainment, it's really about mixing and mingling with your guests and the experts and the experiencing and relaxing and enjoying, your experience for that day. But we have, like I said, music, entertainment, games. It's very relaxed.
They do have live music and dancing and DJ every night. So that's there. It's just that you have the entertainment is kind of, when you say that, if you're like during day and things like that, you're really about cultural interactions with the other guests. You've got passengers, you've got talks that are on board. And at the same time, then you're going to have trivia, you're going to have stuff like that. But then during the evenings, there is a part of the ship where everybody
have piano music and that kind of thing. Yep.
Yeah. So it's very much aligned to a lot of the other cruise ships that you do. And there are theme nights and things like that can take place. This is stupid too. Okay, you know what? You guys just stop with the jokes. Did the captain, when he saw the whales and stop, did he only stop or did he also collaborate and listen? I'm just going to tell you, I'm not even going to read your questions anymore. Was that you?
Was not.
Oh, okay. So I'm looking here, and okay, so I've got. Does anyone have anything else for Miss Lizette? Because there's some wine, music, dancing with fun people. That is exactly right. Yeah, Akshay, this is actually a really good cruise for us to take over the ship.
Mhm.
This
I
really,
think that Brazil one
Yes.
is specifically.
yeah.
And what you can do at the end in Rio, you guys can have an amazing time.
That's the one that's interesting for sure. Yes.
That Brazil cruise, I was shocked at. And when you see, we ran a 3-day special on that because Lisette called me, and that's how that ended up appearing. And I now understand that Lisette just said that she's going to run that 3-day special again for the folks that are on here. Did everyone else hear that?
I did.
Hear that?
What were the prices again, Sean?
I'll get those to you so that way you
Okay.
remember we weren't allowed to publicly announce those prices. So I just want to point out, Lisette, we are so grateful.
No, I know. Oh, I just
Yeah,
I'm getting that raise again, aren't I?
yeah,
Did
yes.
say I was going to get a raise, right? So,
And then we did have another question. Will we see Mr. Bork and Tattoo?
Oh my God.
You all wonder why I drink.
Hey, is that Buffalo Trace, Sean?
Maybe. So no, but I really, guys, this is any other questions that we've got for folks? The food I'm not worried about. The nightly activities are going to be very good. If you have a private group on board, say a group of cabins, can you do private cocktail parties, and can they have private events on board the ship?
we can we always have that available to us. You know, groups do start at 4 people, and then but for a private event, we'd need like at least 15 people.
So groups start at 4 people. I have more personalities.
4 staterooms. 4 staterooms.
Oh, 4 staterooms. Okay.
Sorry if I said
Still have
people.
more personalities than
Yes,
that.
you do. Yes, you do.
Okay.
You could count as the 15 right there.
Oh, yes.
Decca,
So you're saying we could tell Sean there's a private party, and then we can put him in his own room for a while,
Yeah.
and we can all have like a peaceful night with some piano and some wine.
Sitting around your crackling fireplace. There you go.
Yeah, but you all would still want to see my pictures. So question, anybody have, Decca, do you have anything?
Yeah, I think she covered everything. That was great.
Awesome. Well, it was a pleasure meeting you guys, and I really do hope we can, see you on board and you won't be disappointed.
Thank you for your time.
That's awesome. Thank you, Lisa. Everybody, don't worry. Let me hit the end button on this recording so that way we're good. Bye, everybody.